New tonight, a popular restaurant in Ohio County has been closed.
Our top story tonight, a Wheeling staple is set to close its doors at the beginning of February.
Days after the Olde Alpha restaurant.
The Olde Alpha.
The Olde Alpha restaurant
And Wheeling announced they'd be closing their doors.
Must leave its current location.
Wheeling has been closed by the Wheeling, Ohio County Health Department following a complaint that led to an investigation.
At the property at 50 Carmel Road, where the Alpha is located.
Discovery of approximately 4 to 5 inches of wastewater.
If you want to spend some more time at this local favorite,
Can smell worse than sewage at sometimes.
We're going to be looking to do something different
Schlegel is looking to open up a new restaurant.
and just keep doing what we're doing, serving great customers in the Ohio Valley with great food.
In the meantime, the Olde Alpha will remain closed.
Let's do this. Me and my Wheeling Jesuit car. This is. I'm not wearing this. This is not a thing. Not a thing. Ay. Sorry about that.
So we're gonna just mic you up. Just look at the camera.
Okay.
And let's get it going.
All right. Good deal. My name is Charlie Schlegel, and I am the manager of the West Sports Bar, high on the hill overlooking the beautiful city of Wheeling, West Virginia. Not as nice as West Liberty, high on the hill, but it's close. It's close. So, as the manager of this place, biggest thing, I got a job. It's really important to me. It's important to my wife that we're able to pay our mortgage. That matters. But the potential of what we could do here and across the street is almost unimaginable.
Like most restaurants, as a family, they called me the Alpha Mom because I'm like the patriarch of the place, I guess.
The closing of the Alpha was August 15th, 2005. The Miller family didn't want to own it anymore, and they contacted us, and we set up a deal, and it was a really surreal experience. It was one of the first places that I ever went to in Wheeling when I visited my then girlfriend, Paula Ritz. A West Liberty State College graduate, for the record.
Well, I grew up in Wheeling and went to the Alpha periodically as a kid, but not a ton, just, a fair amount, like a normal amount would be. But we really rediscovered the Alpha in 2010 when we moved back to Wheeling. Well, I moved back to Wheeling. It was the first time for my family living there. And we started to enjoy it more and more over the years, and it became our go-to takeout place and one of the places we went to almost weekly, or even more than sometimes 2 or 3 days in a row, depending on the weekend. So even once we went 3 times in one day.
Yeah. I don't remember that.
I don't know what to do.
So I have actually 2 chapters of the Alpha. I've got the chapter 1 when I was a young man. I grew up in Wheeling. So as I became of a legal drinking age, there were times that we would visit the Alpha, and it was a really hopping place in the late 80s, early 90s. It was the place to go. And then as I left the area to educate myself, upon return, Emily having joined us, we moved to this neighborhood in 2011, 2010?
Yeah.
And we had visited before there, but she was just a kid. But as she started to get into middle school type of activities, it was a natural place to go when we would finish. We would go there and eat on the restaurant side. And then half the time we'd spend on the bar side because there was the televisions were in the back and of course the taxidermy.
I probably started going to the Alpha when I was maybe 7 or 8 years old. My grandfather used to take me and we would go to the bar and he would sit at the bar and have a beer or 2 and I would sit with him and have a soda, and then he would give me a bunch of quarters and put them at the pool table, and I would play pool and hit the balls around while he had a couple beers. So I've been going there, I'm 43 right now. So for over 30 some years, I've been going to the Alpha off and on.
Throwing TVs off the roof. You know, the old TVs, the big analog ones that, you know, as the TV, we didn't replace all the TVs at once. When they would burn out, we would take them up onto the roof and then get everybody outside and then just launch these TVs off the roof and they'd explode. It's just so cool. If you ever get a chance to throw a TV off a roof, I highly recommend it.
Okay, so our friend, our whole soccer team was there. And she's basically like, guys, I have a confession. We were like, what is it? And she was like, well, like one time I was here, a couple years ago, and they used to have candles. Don't laugh too much. And they used to have candles, and she caught her hair on fire. And now they don't have candles. And now they don't have candles anymore. That's it. That's the whole story.
I told you it wasn't that funny.
It was so funny though.
The Alpha doesn't have candles?
No.
Is that what you're saying?
Not anymore.
Because she burned her hair,
and everyone was like, oh my god. And now she's afraid of candles also.
Yeah.
What did you think when you first walked in the door?
I found it very interesting.
As a 21-year-old?
Yes. Actually, it was cool. It was crowded and lots of people there, and so that the people make it an enjoyable place to be, even if the atmosphere or the what's the word I want to look for? Well, yeah, some of the
smells.
It needed some upgrades. Let's say that because for a while, but it was always just a great environment and atmosphere where you always ran into friendly faces and people that you knew. And more recently, we definitely went there regularly. It's just a place where you could always see people that you knew. So if you're coming after an event or need something to do on a weekend or want to get together with friends, go to the Alpha.
One of the best memories of the Alpha, how about the people that have worked there for like the entire time that we've owned it? You know, those people that have put their faith in us in order to come to work and have, you know, gone through so much crap.
But what made the Alpha for us were the folks that worked there. Whether it was Kat or Mariah or Aaron, Amber, Jeremiah. I mean, it's just Scott and Shane. You know, just a great group of folks that spend time with that would also serve you a terrific meal.
So, what did you think when you heard it was closing?
Well, we had obviously been texting among friends about the possibility of it closing because people had been hearing about it, and there were a lot of rumors, and it was obviously a very sad thing because we don't have a lot of places in Wheeling that everyone loves to go to and that you really enjoy and are just a real quality establishment that you enjoy going to. So to hear that one of those was closing was very sad.
The plan was that we were going to let the building go to auction, right? Could have stopped it at any time. Literally could have stopped it at any time and didn't because we wanted it to go there. It was a risky move. Some would say foolish. It hurt mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. But we were ready. you know, the dealing with the customers not knowing really hurt business for a while.
It was months of talking to the bartenders and asking them, do you know anything? Have you heard anything? And they just wouldn't, they didn't know anything.
And then it came to the day of the auction. And, you know, we had our plan in place. We knew that there was a number that we were going to go to in the bidding process because we knew all the problems with the building. We knew everything that needed to be done. And we said, okay, this is where we're going. We're not going any farther than this. And they went over that number, and that was it.
And then finally we got a date of, okay, it's actually taking place. They're going to be moving. And we thought, well, good. We at least have this time where we can continue to go as much as we can.
When I did find out it was definitely closing, I read the article about the lease. It was supposed to end next week, actually. I think it was the 4th. And so we were home on a Sunday. It was just us and Isaac, my brother, and I was like, we have to get the Alpha takeout right now because I'm gonna eat there probably 2 or 3 days a week for the next 4 weeks because it's gonna close down and I have to get everything possible.
Well, I cried. I was very upset because it was like losing a friend. I mean, there are a lot of times I spent in my childhood growing up there, and I knew that it wouldn't always be the same with what was coming, but I didn't think it would close as soon as it did.
Good evening, Rich and Kate. Thank you. The Olde Alpha restaurant here in Wheeling has been closed by the Wheeling, Ohio County Health Department following a complaint that led to an investigation. Administrator Howard Gamble said an inspection early Tuesday morning led to the discovery of approximately 4 to 5 inches of wastewater and a crawl space underneath the kitchen. The wastewater is not to be confused with sewage as it comes from the prep area of the kitchen, the dishwasher, and sinks, but Gamble said it can smell worse than sewage at some times. Gamble also said that this kind of situation has happened before at the restaurant, most recently within the past several years. The owner of the building will be required to work with city and county resources to remove the water, deodorize and sanitize the space, as well as work to resolve why the backup occurred. That process could take up to a week. In the meantime, the Olde Alpha will remain closed.
All of a sudden it was just stopped in one day. So it was definitely a shock.
It's as though you were having a friend go away for a while and you're saying, okay, we're going to get together Tuesday, and you find out on Sunday they left.
Closed.
Well, no, but we got it. So we got it. We ate it that night. It was like 9:30 p.m. as per usual, I guess. And then literally that next Tuesday, so it was a Sunday this happened. Then on that Tuesday, closed down, and
I was traveling. My takeout order was just a chicken salad. Had I known, I would have gotten the pork shanks, Greek style, or some wings. But unfortunately.
And literally a week after the auction, somebody reached out to me and said, Gary West would like to talk to you. So I met him for a cup of coffee at Perkins. And
I think the only good thing that came out of that was the fact that I have a lot more money in my pocket and I don't weigh as much as I did. So there's a plus to that, but I know eventually it'll come back to the Wild West and I'll be back to losing money and gaining weight. So
at the end of the day, what was once there, we lost a friend. And we are thankful for the time that we had there, the friends we made, the food we had, the time we had as a family. So for those servers and Charlie and everybody that made that magic, we are grateful.
as I tell my children, it's always good to have options, right? It's great the job you have. It's always good to have an option. It's always good to be in the house or apartment that you're living in, but it's always good to have an option in case you want to go someplace else, move someplace else. It's always good to have options, and that my children, as you know, I have to communicate all this stuff to them, some in person, some over the phone. There were three messages from them. One was, be not afraid. One was, keep the faith. And the other one was, let's go.